ex-soldiers. We are today organizing a press conference, and then this press conference involves all the media outlets, and then we are here to read our press conference message. Someone will be doing that on our behalf, who is Morikeba Kamara. So I will invite Morikeba to come forward and then read the message for the general public.
Media fraternity, invited guests, colleagues here present, ladies and gentlemen, all protocols duly and respectfully observed. Good morning to you all.
Good morning. Good morning.
My name is Morikeba Kamara, presenting on behalf of retired soldiers in the country. The reason for this press conference today is to make clarification on the press release of the Gambia Armed Forces on payment of financial entitlements due to the retired soldiers of the Gambia Armed Forces in the country. We wish to inform the public that the Gambia Armed Forces online publication regarding the payment of financial entitlements due to retired soldiers of Inter-30 is false and misleading. This publication was done a few days after our meeting with the Chief of Defense Staff of the Gambia Armed Forces on the same subject matter. The Gambia Armed Forces could have suspended that publication since the CDS of the Gambia Armed Forces gave us the assurance that our entitlement will be paid to our accounts in a week time, starting with the grant duty, which he claimed to be the highest among all the benefits, though nothing was done at the time. Our surprise was, why should the Gambia Armed Forces make publication on this subject matter after pleading to us that they don't want the involvement of media fraternity, hence it is going to give a bad image to the Gambia Armed Forces as an institution. We would like to make some clarification on this matter for the general public to know that what the truth is. We were enlisted into the Gambia Armed Forces on the 3rd of May 2009, and our run-out date should be 2nd of May 2021, hence we signed for 12 years. It is understood by all of us that the enlistment of eligible personnel for military service in Gambia is done voluntarily for a fixed term of service, at the end of which you are up to either engage or discharge voluntarily. It is worthy to further clarify that a soldier who is due for either voluntary discharge or engagement should be given 3-month notice, unless the exigency of service does not permit such a notice to be given, according to the TABOS, Gambia Armed Forces. This is done to enable the soldier to make informed decision as to whether he or she will re-engage or discharge voluntarily. It is the duty of the formation or unit chief clerk to update the quarterly strength return as to certain soldiers whose term of engagement is to be expired within 3 months. The chief clerk will then inform those due for engagement and or discharge to conduct their medical examination for the speedy processing of their document to avoid delay. The medical examination result with the engagement or discharge form is then filled with the recommendation of the unit commander and forwarded with the soldier's personal file to the formation headquarters for approval. Now, hence we don't have any problem with compliance to this regulation. Why should it take us this long before we can have our entitlement paid? Again, we want to know how much should be our entitlement altogether, and also the breakdown of our pay for each entitlement. These are some of the questions we posed to the Director of Finance, and he could not have any answer for us other than "I don't know." He further pleaded to us to stop asking people outside about this question. What could that signify? I will repeat again, what could that signify? Where is the transparency they used to talk about? The Gambia Armed Forces on their social media page informed the general public and the affected soldiers that as of the date of their publication, 80% of the retirees have been paid full benefits, while the payment of the remaining 20% are being processed to be paid as soon as possible. Probably the 80% of those paid their full benefits are devils, not human beings. As far as we know, there is no single person among us who has his or her pay in full. As of their publication on their Facebook page, many of us did not receive a dollar in our accounts. According to the Director of Finance, the payment for our entitlement should come in 3 phases, namely grant duty, leave encashment, and WAPs. Furthermore, it was also stated by the Gambia Armed Forces that it is instructive to state that the processing of retirement benefits and reform for public servants, including members of the Gambia Armed Forces, require a diligent bureaucratic process which cannot be circumvented. They further stated that the process also involved the participation of various government institutions and functionaries at different levels and times, meaning the output of one institution becomes the input of the other, which should make the possibility of processing the benefits simultaneously very remote. Now, our question is, does this delinquent bureaucratic process requires only when it is time to pay the retirees their benefits? Was it not the same delinquent bureaucratic process that was put into play to make sure our salaries were blocked immediately after our retirement? Is that delinquent bureaucratic process a one-way traffic? We need a convincing answer to this question. During our meeting with the CDS, Gambia Armed Forces, in his office in Banjul about our entitlement, one of us put to him that even some members of 29 Intake still don't have their entitlement. The CDS quickly intervened and objected that statement. According to the CDS, Gambia Armed Forces, there is not even a single person discharged from the army having his or her entitlement unpaid. At the end of the meeting, though not convinced with the excuses they gave us, the CDS gave us the assurance that our benefits will be paid to our accounts in a week time, starting with the grant duty, which, according to him, is the highest among all the benefits. To our surprise, only after 2 weeks of our meeting, some of us started receiving some money in their accounts. Some received $30,000, some received $12,000, some received $9,000, some received $8,000 plus, some received $7,000 and $5,000 plus respectively. And just of recent, we also have the information that some of us received their entitlement. I don't know whether it is for WAPs or whatsoever, but it is $2,700. We don't know what it is. After our meeting with the CDS Gambia Armed Forces, we tried to contact some members of the Intake 29 and Intake 28 to ascertain whether there is any amongst them who is yet to have their entitlements unpaid. Without a surprise, some of them confirmed to us that they still have their payment pending. They expressed their frustration and dissatisfaction of the way the Gambia Armed Forces treated them. According to them, they have used all ways and means in pursuit of their entitlement, but to no avail. It was never our intention to reach to this level with the Gambia Armed Forces, but circumstances forced us to do so. We endeavored to exhaust all avenues before we reached to this level, but we feel that there was less or no progress in the whole process. We have been patient for 4 months plus. If it is only patience and discipline that can make us have our entitlement, we would have received it long time ago. We want all members of the Gambia Armed Forces to understand that our action is not a witch hunt against anybody, but instead trying to pave a way for the military to put their finance department in order. Our action is not only to the interest of the retirees, but also to the interest of others who are yet to be retired. It is very clear and obvious that we have high regard for the Gambia Armed Forces and its members, hence it is an institution that we want to serve under. Honestly speaking, we feel that we are not given the respect we deserve from the Gambia Armed Forces. Finally, we wish to inform the public that we have no intention to stage a demonstration of any kind as circulated on social media. If we want to demonstrate, we will follow the right procedures. No one loves this country more than we do. We are all Gambians and have no bad intention for this country. Gambia is what we have. We have our families here, our everything is here. So there is no way that we can do anything that can bring this country down to its knees. We thank you all for your kind attention. God bless you.
Thank you so much, Monikeba. He have said it all, and then I have to commend him for his message. So now we will invite the members of the press to ask their questions, and then now the floor is open for the members of the press. You are invited for questions.
I have a question.
Yes.
Since you opted to resign, you have difference in the official of the Gambian Armed Forces. So did they tell you to ask for how much will you receive in total with regard to the leave encashment, guard duty, and that of the guards? In total, how much should you receive as retired soldier?
Thank you very much for asking that question. In fact, this is one of the reasons, or one of the questions that we are asking them. During our meeting with the CDS, we put this question to the Director of Finance, who is Lieutenant Colonel Falcon, Musa Jan, known as Falcon. We asked him this question, but he cannot tell us a convincing answer. He said he don't know, he cannot know how much he should be paid or how much someone can be paid for a particular benefit. So it is so doubting. To be honest, we don't know, and they did not tell us anything. Yes, up to date.
Of course.
That is a requirement by the general.
Yes, of course. We were all given an appointment letter before we start serving in the campaign. So we understand that is the procedure. Exactly, that is how it is.
Okay. Another question is like, almost, you have a meeting with the CDS, and the CDS promised you 1 week, they will pay you, and it fails. Now you are going to have a press conference to express your frustration with regard to the ongoing saga. If still now the armed forces do not pay you, what next? What are you going to take? Are you going to take any legal actions or whatever?
Okay, we know Gambia is a democratic state, so there is no way that we can take the law into our own hands. We know there are procedures for everything. So this is just a step. So if they did not respond to our demands, we will take another dimension. But whatever we are to do, we will make sure that it falls within the context of the law. We will not do anything that will contradict the law of this country.
I am also particular about this. Could you tell us specifically at what particular time in the year you have discussion with the CDS about your flight? How many times have you engaged the CDS on your flight?
Okay, for that of the CDS, we had a meeting with him in his office some 2 weeks ago, after 3 weeks. And that was the time he gave us the assurance. The week our entitlements will be paid to our account, starting with the grant duty, which he claimed is the highest amount of the benefits. So that was the meeting we had with him, because when we decided to go out and meet the media houses concerning this issue, so we were receiving calls from them. The CDS was calling, the other generals in the army, the MA to the CDS, and so many, they were calling. They pleaded to us not to involve the media fraternity into this issue, because that could give bad image to the country. So, but then, because most of us here, 95 to 97% of us here are working. So, in trying to go there, we need to apply for passport our work visa. Because he called me and he requested for the meeting the following week. So the meeting could not go. So, but for that of the finance, we've been going here every now, going there every now and then. But we feel that we are not taking serious. We've been going there, paying our fare, going there, coming, going there, coming from there, people are doing this.
I'm Bakari Mankajam from DHK Radio, and the same time working with Generation TV. I would love to ask you in I told la jero to aliamara mune kodoni mune adileni for kodoni a jota dulal to bang a nyaton kol mel bije wol damawni a domo bang wala men atina kodoni dile lafta yo senandi jama ma mel yalon ko be jibero la nyin tembe
baraka bakari lawo ni karola o ni kar kuma bala komin kodoni na dile dol ka je nyami ngaje ko kule badu because nimu dol buka fama je nimu na defense economy na kodikola kun na kataje ni bota je kata trésor ba ni futata je wol kam mi tan dila ndol kuten tol bu nga be di alla molla so atuta wolle bu anu no mo kili wol famo minu ya lon ko min like for instance ni marda wofsla ni anyi nga ka so na siro kono wala kan na siro dundi pour kat adun tol account ndol tonya e tonya min di wolom nga jele ko kule be tama kan duma nim manya because kodo nyin kumo ni aje e malono ka lo dula fon dole comme alnyana nangam le sodo la nyindo wala kayita nyin dolla ko tonya e be tenne kudo because mota mindi e man silano ka fo e ko eta e nyana nyina sodo ado ada nyawnya hanim bete kanyana kodola because nyin question on dol famo e finance director nyin kala bara ni tan ninna ko nya yalon alla ranko man te kidin ando ale ranko siti nyonyala so ante kodo receive no la ale kanya nkai fine no understand nkai bare ngat sample di la je ni mo do je nkai tene wo promoter ni la kabrin ka bo private to landscape mboda landscape ko nkai sign ntene wala al halo ete o jibe nyaadi le hani man kanya bare manyan nyo dana kemola ako no e ma understand no nkai hani lafta ka wala understand bara ma feri nyeno komi ni mum po ala besejo nyito I need a nimola to my surprise because ngaje ko tonya fal ngami mire to ngawala taraje bayde akonye ko alkaka nyini ngaro ke banta because nale nyini ngaro ke nyin ko la banta e batal mislead anu ngamira ko mumi alon ko e be fen nyini ngaka mo jar min jarta je kawle nyini ngaka nyin kam mete sona salo e betala nyame so nyine kan tol du nyini ngaro pulun salon be minke kam foto nyante anu ngayda ni la ko tonya ngam fo kuma saari ngolo kunun na mo kilim bota nanje kata atata trésor so ya nyini nga fo e jola wopslan ako hade wol na ra ita ndala ko sa ite juta la pour se efenko apply no that is the pension so trésor ya refer back to defense sector the extract meno dida to his surprise what extract meno I only grand duties la jole bara another realize ko kulo 28,000 in a major wala grand duties. So 28,000 ntol kana ka 13,000 din dollar na highest wala do bi 17,000 not long ago do ka for 17,000 so ikalo woldo auto tonya foul play le bi because nga nyini ngaro ga aku kili wala koto kede ko blo do bi ya jo 13,000 le ako mune wono ye min fa wala nyindi ko me salary ya dido ko anu nyi me salary ka min fa de wala wo me kili ngotin to ritata min ndara credit union la nda fama min kadi amiyete to collect my balance there credit union e min tani na wala nyindi ko finance directed us not to pay you your balance because this month they are going to pay you ali adokule ali tilidandan dokuje so they are going to pay so ede karo min doku ikana ke kundu wala yamra tilimbale ate ko min bi jamantini so nyinon kolti fam min en fundindi ka nyin ngaro ka manke komin kodola jobali afan doronde bar kodo nyin fo en tol jomin na fo wolon bang lafta wala lonna lafta lonna nyina nan ko lafta ya jaba kese woto ntolye ngalo ya kilin na itan na koni nimbe salary receipt la yalan pay slipo bi so pay slipo ni ikalo na koni allowance kar ye jo ni la so lafta nyina la iyali ikan jelle la nintole social security mimbe kafula be kan pour nyana na benefit sotola minga nyilong we will be able to it will be easy for us to know that photo tonya yen jo mina wala mtati fontante
okay ya tandina fanan ko mol mele alon ko wolle riteata mele alon ko atel ko leñi nin ka bantaten bawo wol fanal tambita no nyi silola e lafta ka kuma keso sotol bul alla wo nyinin karoto wala non la kachato almo falmol nyinin ka for like itel time o fo kayta dila me alon ko sa tandino la ko etel ye joy nankama wala nyanta ke joy ni nangam lela fo e mo kayta sifal tan dalla ba
okay so question important one but until kabrin na ni serious button be don sura kan because na information also don't know even until na min no min no sign like to into 28 into dol bi han sign me la ko do so So bring to more information so we put it to the CDS. But I will object that. I'm also one. So but what more comment like into phenomenon basis to the back, I will have my phone jack and the back. But after that, another connection using a finding from different people, meaning I will left for the time, 29 intake, 28 intake. So when not a community because though we get the phone passer until we will be under or 29 intake will go at only 5,000 plus I will receive. So the whole entitlement. Since then, he's been following them every now and then, a pasita, a batata, and last and even some progress also the same thing. That is what they told us. Because yeah, normal batata. So it's like it's all from Mobuka along for exactly how much should be your entitlement. So whatever muntola mira ba da for the sulo da for work because Nico, you don't have problem. Put control of salary based on because no person live like indicate to you. This is for this, this for this, this for this. So sir, why is it that why should it be a problem? So I'm put a breakdown in Dinto like account for actually end of your retirement. This should be your entitlement. I don't think there should be a problem in that. But what problem with me and told me no matter and amongst because inside a man from into the union as a convention. I come in from where the world call finance director and from where the world call. I think he cannot tell us. So, but you cannot tell us, but you can send people, send money to people's account. They can't put the minimum entitlement. So, just look at it. Logically, when you look at that, it doesn't make sense to us.
Okay. According to your payment slip, you mentioned that there are certain criteria that the payment should be done.
Yes.
So, in your own calculation, how much do you guys think you should supposed to have for your payment? Also, you made mention of like 2 weeks after the meeting with the city, some people received 10,000, I don't know, 5,000. Did you guys try to find out what that payment was for?
Okay, what was your first question?
The first question was, according to your payment slip, you guys are supposed to receive a certain amount of money for each payment. Did you guys make a calculation to find out how much should be the total payment before your retirement?
What we don't know, and we want to know. So they are the only people who can clarify that for us. So this is why we are following them, but yet still, they cannot give us any convincing answer. That is our surprise. Yeah, but according to, because some 29 index, according to them, for them, for only grand duty, they receive 26,000, 27,000 for only grand duty. So for that of leave encashment, some receive 13,000 or 12,000. So, but for WAPs, it is always 5,000 to 6,000.
Okay, so, I mean, these payments, should it include your pension?
According to the finance director, what he told us, he did not talk to us about the pension. Probably the pension is there, but he never talked to us about that. What he told us was our entitlement is supposed to come in this. That is the grand duty, the late encashment, and the WAPs. These are the three things he told us, he mentioned. But he never talked to us about our listing. Pension, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
The second question.
Yeah, I mean, after the meeting with the CDS, you made mention like 2 weeks after that, some people received 10,000, 5,000. Did you guys try to make findings to know what was that payment for?
Okay, that 10,000, 5,000 after 2 weeks of our meeting with the CDS. That one also we try to find out because according to the CDS, the impression that he gave us was the first benefit that will be paid to our account should be grand duty because according to him, he claimed that to be the highest among all the benefits. So we have this belief that the money that is sent to us after our meeting with the CDS is the grand duty. But to our surprise, is the grand duty, yes. But to our surprise, how can people of the same grant, someone is receiving 12,000, some 13, some 9,000, some 8,000, some 5,000, some 2,700 plus for the same entitlement. So we cannot understand. So we need a convincing answer for this.
Okay, yeah. And finally, what effort have you done after you realize that there are separate amount of money sent into various accounts of yours? What effort have you done to verify, to engage them, the GAF official head, to engage them to ask why this amount is paid? Because if you retire the same, we will expect that the gravity is some form of executive people among yourself to represent you, to meet them, to ask them actually why this amount is paid if we expect this to be the same. Did you engage them in any way?
Formally, we did not write. To be honest, we did not write to them. But our meeting with them in the CD's office, we asked about this, but they haven't given us any answer. So that is the problem. We feel that this is the only way for us to pursue our benefits for the whole world to know, or the general public to know the difficulties that we are facing.
Also, I would like to know about the director of the and there's somewhere the director said is instructed to stop what?
What we say?
The director is instructed to stop paying.
Around 2nd of May 2021. So it is 4 months plus. We pass one of our entitlement and let's take the more to the country.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, sorry, the army said like 135 people retired from that time. Is it more or below?
It's more than this. That one, I don't think we can ascertain that because we are from different universities. Yes, I have. Okay, before you answer, we even forgot to put this thing. So there are other people here also. Maybe they may have something to contribute. So if you have anything to talk about in regards to our entitlement.
Comme ñinin karoke comme ndol momo ñata jël le sotla gal ko ite mal idol malom ya lonne tapalale biji because right now thing ndol min tara mi anko momo tara missional ay murtanan amari yalla ne ko dandi be mula ko jola black bodo ko le landi nte ay personnel mod la me jata e ka calculate monso ngamin do kuje e be ñin le sotla je so as far as retirement keta ya lonne ntol mume momo ñente jelle sotla because of ya fole ko comme the way e kata ñamen leave neta around about this leave e kata ñamen leave ñeta leave sotla wala ñama ya lonne ntol sojor mume e kata ñamen leave ya lonne momo tara ñamen leave ya lonne ni manta leave ya lonne so e may niya fa ko itul malong ntol ñeta jelle sotla ta fale ale biye e man pare ka to nya fontolier e to nya fontolier ko do e funtinan ntol be niya nga do ko bla momo la ko nin ko do fundita ya pla minna ye ko do ta ya ke ila ko la bar nyim pocin bi ni tata ye 5000 di lela o 5000 so plan no bang ita plan no la another 3 months ina ye 5000 do di lela dan we banna ibata be ko do be do mo lay fam fam plan no so to la ko ina ko do dina di mola in once nyim pocin di ndo mala fi wala we are all Gambians and mam kudo soto comme mira do soto comme be kudo kala gambe yan no mo soto ya all Gambians lafta na kodo an na nyin kodo ko wala na nga nyin ko ke apa fro this kodo ite mo jela ay diam kabimbe 12 years mo nene man problème soto to be mimbe sirinja mo nene man problème soto in army 12 years nga safle form aparta tak no problem no nothing no insulting so lafta na kodo dina ndo lafta wala
Okay. Your name?
Modlami Jata.
Okay, thank you very much. My name is Dembo Eljaju. In addition to the purpose of this gathering, the reason why these talks are all going since day one up to date is the reason that, because many of us, we never know even what our entitlements are in the army. And they should sensitize us. They should sensitize everybody. There are soldiers working presently who are working. We ourselves, personally, many don't even know that they are entitled to 3 benefits. Because the reason why people are pursuing this every day and night, we were never sensitized. Like the benefit of WAPs, let them tell us, you guys are entitled of WAPs in this amount. Leave encashment, they tell us that this is your entitlement after retirement. Grant duty also, which they claim to be the highest pay also. If they tell everybody within the service before your retirement, there will be no problem like this. This is the first time I can believe in the history of the Gambia Armed Forces, of people gathering talking about these benefits. Because the reason why it is happening, they never want transparency to happen in between us. And we want to know also, whether these deductions they are making is from the government or is a decision from the army itself. You understand? Because the reason why this problem is going every day, and if this is going to rise, every day is going to go up. There are boys that are behind us who are also to retire by 2022. And if they don't settle this problem within the army, next batch also to retire, is going to be a continuation. And many people we are coding like 29 intake and 28 intake we are saying. It is very true. Many of them retired, without knowing what their benefits are. They are never sensitized. And if they see you at the headquarters, they don't even treat you as somebody who once served 12 years in the army. 12 years in the army is not 12 days, moreover 12 weeks. So let them be fair to us and give us what our entitlements are. You understand? It is not easy if they pay fair going to headquarters, when you reach the finance, they will tell you, go to treasury. When you go to treasury, they say, we are done with you people. We did our payments all, it is now left to your people to give your payments. Because I have a proof of that. I was like, to be paid since May on a benefit of WAPs. I went to the treasury, they said, okay, we extracted your WAPs since May, since end of May. So, till they give me a list of the people, I went with, they are all paid. So when I came back to the finance again, I saw it and said, oh, sorry, there were missing papers, that we forget to attach to this paper, for your payment. So there, I'm not seeing, transparency in it. So I am urging the army, let them come to us, and make things very clear to everybody. This is not something that they should benefit. If you are working in the system, you cannot benefit it until you are retired. But now, if you retired also, to get your money is another problem. This is why many people retired without getting all their benefits, because they are not treated professionally when they go to headquarters. Thank you very much.
I am Ibrahim A.K. Jawne, an ex-leading seaman. Okay, because of this group, I even know some of these entitlements. I believe in the army, some are even serving now. They did not know. So this is a very good thing that we are doing. We are doing it for the whole Gambia Armed Forces. Okay, myself, I did not know how they are said. To be frank, it's just now I'm just knowing all these kind of benefits. Okay,